All right, welcome to another episode of Biscayne Stories, where neighbors meet neighbors. Today, we're going to meet one of the candidates who's running for District 6 school board member at the Miami-Dade County Public Schools, of course, which affects us here in Key Biscayne. Her name is Sandra Manzieri. She has been a teacher for 21 years. She's currently teaching first grade at the K-8 Center, at our K-8 Center here in the Key. She has spent 11 years working there, doing a combination of first grade all the way to 8th grade. I think you were telling me before we started. And she's running for school board, so that's pretty exciting. You know, you've been around in the Key for a while, you know, teaching and being part of this community at the K-8 Center. Thank you for jumping on the show and telling us about you, so we can get to know you a little bit. How are you?
I'm great. Good morning. How are you, Alejandro? Thank you so much for having me on your show.
My pleasure.
I love Key Biscayne. I love this community, and I decided to jump into this race because I feel that there is a need to have a teacher's voice on that board, a teacher and a parent.
So tell us, you're a parent, you know, you have, how many, you had 2 kids, you told me?
I have 3 children. I have 2 adult children, and I have a 15-year-old who attended Key Biscayne K-8 from kindergarten to 8th grade. And right now he is thriving on a step-up scholarship at Christopher Columbus High School, which is a private Catholic school in Westchester. I didn't feel that the public school could meet his needs, and I pulled them out, and I am very grateful for school choice.
Cool. So, okay, you said Columbus, right?
Yes.
I went to Columbus.
Yay, go Explorers.
Yeah, I'm still exploring. That's cool. Hey, what scholarship did you say he was doing?
It's called the Step Up Scholarship. It used to be called the Mckay Scholarship. It's for children with learning disabilities, and you can take your money from the public school system and take it to private schools that accept the scholarship.
Okay, I didn't know about that one, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I have a couple of questions I prepared for you, so we can get to know you a little bit and your run. So the first one I have is, what is the best piece of advice you have ever been given?
I think that came from my mother, God rest her soul. She came to this country at a young age. She didn't speak the language. She had a 3rd grade education, and she raised 7 children. My dad passed away when I was 8 years old. So she was basically on her own, but she always taught us to never give up and to work hard for anything that we really wanted in our lives. And I think that I'm a product of that. And I try to pass that on to my children and to my students as well. I didn't go back to school until I was 35 years old. I got my master's after getting my bachelor's, and then continued to get my educational specialist and continued working toward improving myself and following my dreams one day at a time. It wasn't easy. I was raising a family and working full time, but I never gave up. So if it's anything I could tell any young person or old person, that there's no limit to what you can do if you really stick to it and work hard.
I like that because especially nowadays, where the results people expect are immediate, you know, like with social media and everything, the instant gratification, all these things are supposed to happen so quickly, but in reality, no, we build things with time, dedication, consistency, patience, and, as you said, not giving up, because you need to hold yourself through all these moments, the ups and downs, right? So I like that. Not giving up, everybody, is key for a lot of things in our lives.
The tortoise and the hare, remember?
Yeah.
What's the moral? Slow and steady wins the race.
I like that. So what are the most important things in your life right now?
Well, I would say family, for sure. I have 3 beautiful children. 2 of my daughters are adults. They live in Philadelphia. And my son, Lorenzo, who's 15, he lives with me, and my husband, who's very supportive. Right now, I am extremely grateful because I'm feeling extremely blessed, because my daughter had a brain tumor and it was removed, and she is recovering. And these lessons teach you that life is unpredictable and can sometimes throw you these incredible curveballs, but with faith and trust, God is good. We can keep moving forward.
I'm glad she's recovering. You said she's doing well. And
Yes,
she's
thank God.
okay. Awesome. Well,
Mhm.
I'm glad that everything went well. Thank God indeed. So I have some questions related to your running for office. So what
Okay.
inspired you? What inspired you to run for a school board member?
Well, it's something that has always been in the back of my head for a long time, because I've always been passionate about injustices and about uh, inequalities and things that I see in the system that are broken. But I always thought I'd jump into this after I retire. I didn't think I'd leave my career this early, and quite honestly take a pay cut and impact my retirement. But I've just seen so many things in these past couple of years that have truly uh, taken me to make this decision, because if not me, then who? Because I see that no one else is leaning in, and there's a need to fill this void. There are so many students that honestly are not being addressed the way that they deserve to be addressed, the way they have a right to be addressed. Parents are being ignored, teachers are being disrespected. Uh, these board members make decisions without consideration, without uh, collaboration, without actually speaking to the teachers with boots on the ground, with the parents who are directly impacted by the decisions that they make. By our neediest students, our most fragile students, our special education students, our English language learners. They place all uh, these things on paper, like they're doing so much, like the services and the money that's being invested, but I just don't see it. I don't see it in the classroom. I don't see those supports there for the teachers. I don't see the supports for the students. And it's time to actually have board members that are actually engaged, that visit classrooms, that see what's going on, that hold school leaders accountable, that check the data, that are innovative with the way that they address these problems. I mean, if you look at our reading proficiency rate for the entire county, yeah, we have a great graduation rate. Our graduation rate is like 90 something percent. But our reading proficiency rate, I believe, is in the high 40s or the low 50s.
So talking about Key Biscayne more specifically, what do you believe are the most important issues around our school today?
Well, that's an excellent question, and one that I've pondered for a long time. We had a leader at our school since I was hired, Sylvia Tarafa, who's a local resident. She understood the community very, very well. And, was she perfect? No, of course not. Just like I'm not perfect and you're not perfect, but she was as close to perfect as you can get. She was an amazing, amazing administrator who understood the community that she worked for, that worked harder than any person I know. And I believe that that's the main problem with our school in the last 2 years, is that we had a leader that did the best she could. She came from a different demographic, but she just didn't understand the needs of our community. Our community is very unique and special because our community gives their all to our school, with support to teachers, support to their children, support to the school. But with that support comes great expectations. Our community wants to make sure that our school is the best school that it can be, that our teachers are top notch, that we have a top notch administrator. And I feel that there was a disconnect with the leadership that we had during the pandemic. And also the pandemic, she can't be blamed. I'm not blaming anyone here. There were a lot of issues with the pandemic, that, school closures and the restrictions in volunteers, et cetera. So I would say that right now, our new leader, and I hope and I pray that our new leader will take a lesson from what has happened in the last 2 years and will really understand the needs of Key Biscayne. We are a school that wants volunteers. We are a school that wants parents to volunteer in their children's classroom. We are a community that wants to be competitive academically and in sports. We are a community that wants to have teachers happy, that wants to have teachers that can grow in their career. We are a community that wants to have a clean, beautiful building, that wants to be involved in conservation issues because we are a barrier island. There are so many things that are important to this community, and we need a leader that understands our needs.
So what would an ideal K-8 center for us here in Key Biscayne look like to you?
Wow. Okay, an ideal K-8 center. Well, I'm going to start with the primary grades. Since right now I'm a primary teacher, I teach first grade, and primary grades require more support because the little guys need more help, I feel. They're less independent. So an ideal K-8 center would have paraprofessionals supporting the primary grades. An ideal K-8 center would have interventionists in reading and mathematics to support our lowest performing students. An ideal K-8 center would have a strong link with our community business leaders to support initiatives. For example, through the PTA and the local businesses, we can raise money for specific things like improving our playground, or improving our PE field, or improving our building, or adding structures to enhance and beautify our garden, our organic garden. All of these things would be a part of it. An ideal K-8 center would have volunteers coming in and out of our school, vetted volunteers. An ideal K-8 center would be safe, non-porous. We have 2 police officers working at our school full time. That's very important. But still, there are areas where I see that there's soft points that we need to protect our children. An ideal K-8 center would have a middle school that is not dying. Right now, our middle school has very low numbers. We need to have programs, electives, advanced classes to keep our students there so that they don't leave en masse to Mass Academy and the other magnet schools. We need to make it more competitive. An ideal K-8 center would have teachers that are highly effective and want to remain at our school, that are not putting in transfers, which unfortunately last year we saw several teachers put in transfers, so we're not sure what's going to happen this year. An ideal K-8 center would have a leader that understands the needs of our community and works collaboratively with our teachers towards that end, and ensures that all students, especially our most fragile students, our ESE students, are receiving the services to which they're entitled. An ideal K-8 center would have a pool of substitutes from our community that would be ready at a drop of a dime, because right now we use our in-house people to cover classes. So if a teacher's sick, they'll pull the Spanish teacher or the art teacher, and then those special area classes get canceled, and that puts more pressure on the teacher and makes the teachers unhappy, and they don't have time to plan. So an ideal K-8 center would have a strong language program, because so many parents want their children to maintain their native language because they're not sure how long they're going to be in this country. Their dream is to return to their country. The numbers in the program that we currently have, the extended foreign language program, are limited. So possibly expand that to a full-time bilingual program, maybe expand it to another language. I know we have a lot of Portuguese speakers, expand it to also a Portuguese language program or a French. There are so many things that we could do if we work together. And there is no reason why Key Biscayne can't be these things. No reason at all. We have the resources, we have the support, we have wonderful teachers, we have children that are amazing, we have large numbers. We can do this.
And you also have a lot of organizations around the school that helps. I think that I recently learned about PTAs. I thought it was like a one-off situation, but apparently schools have PTA, which is parents, they participate in the school, right? That's one. And then there's some changes in PTA locally here in the Key Biscayne as well. And then there's also the foundation, the Key Biscayne Education Children's Foundation. I believe I don't know if I got the name right, but they also help raise funds to do these paraprofessionals, right? Which are paraprofessional, if I'm not mistaken, is just extra teachers to help, right?
It's an extra body in the classroom, but it's a trained person that is not a teacher per se. She's not or he or she is not a certified teacher, but they can support the teacher in many ways. They can support the teacher in the classroom with helping during a small group activity, or they can help during a science experiment, or they can just help with numbers. There's so much to do in a classroom that it's truly overwhelming. And teachers need this support, because every time something goes wrong, like this pandemic has resulted in students being, I found that my data this year found that first graders had never actually been into a classroom because of the shutdowns in certain schools in certain states. So I received students that were coming to me that had stepped into a classroom for the first time in their life, and they were entering first grade. And they had serious gaps in learning. Some of them did not know their letters, they did not know sounds, and these are things that are taught in kindergarten. So from the beginning, we were working from behind with zero support. We did not have an interventionist. We did not have paraprofessionals to support us. And we did the best we could. And thank God that we live and work in a community that you talk to the parents and you explain to the parents, we have this problem, we need your support. And they are quick to hire a tutor or to get them extra help after school. But that doesn't happen in the majority of our schools. In the majority of our schools, the parents are working and they have no way to support their children. So if things went south at our school, I want you to take a moment and reflect. What do you think happened in those inner city schools, or those schools that are predominantly immigrants? It's a lot. So yes, we do have a lot of support at Key Biscayne, and the foundation does wonderful things, and we need to find a way to work with the administration so that the foundation can work more closely with our school to improve programs for our school and services for our students. And the PTA is wonderful. I was a board member this year, and it was pretty bumpy. It was difficult, but I think that we got some things done. Mr. Alpha was amazing at working with our PTA. She knew how to work with the PTA. She knew what the needs of the school were. She knew what the needs of the teachers were, and it was always a very good relationship with the PTA. And I hope that this new PTA, because there's a new board now, will engage with the new administration and work seamlessly to bring the school what we need.
So tell us a little bit about why you decided to become a teacher. Why a teacher out of all the professions out there?
Oh, that's a good question. I was working actually in the shipping business and freight forwarding business. I was in the shipping business for many years. I worked for a large freight forwarding company. I worked for transport. I was in the transport business for many years, and I was making a very good living. But I never saw my little girls. I had two little girls, and I would work sometimes evenings up to 8 o'clock at night. And my husband was self-employed, so he basically took care of the girls. And I remember coming home and it's like, oh, Mika took her first steps today. And I was like, oh, I missed that. So one day I just woke up in the middle of the night, actually, and I told him I'm quitting my job and I'm going back to school to become a teacher so that I could have a more flexible schedule with the kids. And he's like, you're crazy. You know, teachers don't get paid anything. Are you nuts? You know, you are making pretty decent money now. And I said, no, I decided that's what I'm going to do. So, you know, being my mother's child, I just took the bull by the horns. I put in my resignation. I quit. I said, oh, you know what? I'm going to get a job at Master Academy as a secretary while I'm going to school. And that way I could work my way into the system and start getting to see how the system works. So I went and I got fingerprinted and I applied for the job at Miami-Dade County Public Schools as a secretary. And I was hired at Master Academy as a secretary while I was going to school. And I went back to school and got my bachelor's, which I never had a bachelor's before that. And then just kept going. And I love what I do. I absolutely love being a teacher. I love connecting with parents. I love children. Like, they're just so amazing, the things that they say and how unjaded they are. And it's just, I love it. It's what I'm passionate about.
Awesome. Well, I know a lot of parents in the Key are very happy with you as a teacher and as a candidate as well. So we take opportunities here at Key Biscayne Stories for our neighbors to get to know what's going on. Especially if we can bring topics like this of individuals that are either running for office or want to impact the community in certain ways. These are great mediums for people to get to know each other. In this case, getting to know you a little bit more. So thank you. Thank you for coming on the show and telling us your story and the reasons why you're running and a little bit about you. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Alejandro. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with me today. And I hope that the community gets to know a little bit more about me. And I really hope that on August 23rd, when they vote for Sandra Manzieri for District 6. Thank you.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you again and have a great day.
Bye.